So I would like to tell you today about eco-wave power and its unique wave energy technology. But first, I would like to tell you a little bit about my personal journey and what actually led towards my passion for wave energy. So this photo is not directly related to wave energy. That's actually me when I was 2 years old. I live in Tel Aviv in Israel, but I was not born there. I was born in Ukraine in 1986. And 2 weeks after I was born, the Chernobyl nuclear reactor exploded, causing the largest in history nuclear disaster in terms of costs and casualties. I was one of the babies that got hurt from the negative effects of the explosion. I actually had a respiratory arrest and a clinical death. My mother approached my crib, she looked down at me, and I was pale and blue and not breathing. And my mother is a nurse, but she forgot from the stress. So she ran to my dad and she was like, oh my God, the baby is dead, like what do I do? And he said, you're a nurse, do something. And then she remembered she's a nurse, thank God. And she gave me a mouth-to-mouth resuscitation until the ambulance came and actually saved my life. So I got a second chance in life, and I really, really wanted to do something good with it. And I believe that wave energy, that according to the World Energy Council, can produce twice the amount of electricity that the world produces now, is definitely a good thing to do for the world. So why wave energy? So first of all, wave energy is the least intermittent source of renewable energy. It can produce electricity 24/7. Unlike solar, which is also an amazing source, but it cannot operate at night or in the winter or in cloud coverage, wave energy in suitable locations will generate 24/7. Other than that, there is 832 times more kinetic energy in the water than in air, meaning we can produce much larger electricity amounts with much smaller, thus cheaper devices. Also, about 2.4 million people, which are 40% of the world population, are currently living within 100 kilometers of a coastline. With this type of population distribution, the need for wave energy is undeniable. We can save a lot of the transmission costs. If we're looking at the US market, according to the Energy Information Administration, in the US alone, wave energy can produce 66% of all the United States energy needs. And in Europe, it is expected to produce 188 gigawatts of power, which is 10% of all Europe's electricity needs by the year 2050. And as I said, according to the World Energy Council, wave energy can produce twice the amount of electricity that the world produces now. So all the countries that are promising us net carbon zero emissions by the year 2050, I think we need wave energy in the variety of renewable energy sources to achieve that. So if wave energy is so amazing, why don't we see it everywhere? We see solar farms, we see wind farms, but we don't see wave energy everywhere. And the answer kind of lies in the photo here before you. This is not the eco-wave power technology. This is another technology called Pelamis. 99% of our competitors decided to do exactly what Pelamis did. They took these bulky, huge floaters, they put them in the middle of the ocean, and inside the floater, they put all the expensive equipment, the generators, the hydraulic equipment, the sensors, and so on. This created 5 very big problems. First of all, the cost of these systems, sky high. Pelamis was a power station that could supply energy for 100 households and cost over $150 million in development cost. This will never return the investment. Still, investors decided to invest in it because they said, okay, it's starting expensive, but it will go down like solar and wind. But Pelamis only survived in the water for 3 days. After 3 days of operation, total loss to the system. In the offshore, you have waves of 20 meters and even higher. And unfortunately, no man-made stationary equipment can survive the loads of a 20-meter wave height. Insurance companies saw that it's so expensive and it's breaking down all the time. They decided not to insure offshore wave energy. If you can't insure it, it's difficult to get funding. And environmentalists, which were supposed to be the greatest proponents and supporters of wave energy, were actually objecting it because it created a new presence on the ocean floor, which disturbed the marine environment. The marine life would get tangled in the connections, and that wasn't obviously a good thing. And these companies got so preoccupied with trying to lower their cost and just survive, not break down, that most of them never got the chance to connect to the electrical grid. So there became a huge question mark on whether wave energy can even connect safely to the electrical grid. Now, what we can see here, this is eco-wave power. As you can see, it is a completely different concept. It's simple, it's easy, and it is a smart technology. We don't go to the offshore. We connect only to existent man-made structures, such as piers, breakwaters, jetties, and other types of structures. The only thing in the water are the floaters. The floaters belong in the water, and all the expensive equipment is on land, just like a regular power station. By the way, if we look at the wind industry, we see that for the first 100 years, the wind industry never dared to go into the offshore. They were first getting the information and improving the technology on the onshore and nearshore, and only after 100 years, the technology was deployed the first time in Denmark in the offshore. Wave energy needs to do the same. Start where it's easy, where it's simple, and then continue to the offshore where it is more complicated. So how does the technology work? So basically, our floaters are attached to existing structures such as piers, breakwaters, jetties. The floaters are going up and down with the movement of the waves. They're pushing the hydro cylinder, which transmits biodegradable fluid into land-located accumulators. A pressure is being built, which is used to turn the hydro motor, turning a generator, and sending clean electricity to the grid via an inverter. So the advantages of our technology is that it is cost efficient. The first grid-connected power station we built in Gibraltar. It's the same size as the Pelamis power station, 100 kilowatts, but the cost is much different, only $450,000. In comparison to $150 million in development cost, that's a big scientific breakthrough. Other than that, we're 100% environmentally friendly. We do not connect to the ocean floor. We only connect to existent man-made structures which already disturb the environment. Cement in the water is obviously not very environmentally friendly, but we have to build these breakwaters and structures in order to protect coastal populations from the storm. So we take something that is not prime real estate and that is actually damaging the environment and turn it to a source of clean electricity. Our technology is also reliable, as we can see in the video in the bottom of the screen. Here is a big storm in Gibraltar with wave heights of up to 6 meters. In that case, our floaters go into storm protection mode. They basically lift above the water level, and they stay in the upward position until the storm passes. When the storm passes, they go back to the water automatically and commence operation. Again, very similar to wind turbines. When the wind is too strong, the blades actually lock down, and the turbine stops turning to prevent damage to the turbine. And the technology is fully insurable by reputable insurance companies and has been connected to the grid in Gibraltar for 6 years. The company has currently 17 patents. 11 patents are approved, 6 patents are pending for different ingredients in the technology, including the floaters, the automation and control system, the hydraulic conversion unit, and others. So here we can see a little bit our development pathway. We started actually testing in the Hydromechanical Institute in Kiev, in Ukraine. You can see that we were testing different floater shapes to see how the shape of the floater actually influences the energy generation. We continued to our first real conditions testing in the port of Jaffa in Israel. It was an off-grid power station because back then there was no legislation that enabled to connect wave energy into the grid. In 2016, we deployed our first grid-connected power station in Gibraltar, which has been grid-connected for 6 years. And currently, we're building our second grid-connected power station in Israel in collaboration with EDF Renewables IL, which is a subsidiary of the French national electrical company, Électricité de France, and co-investment from the Israeli Energy Ministry, which recognized our technology as pioneering technology. This power station is set to open in about 1 month, and it will be the first time in the history of Israel that electricity from the waves will officially flow into the national energy grid. So we can see here a bit the history and the milestones of the company. As I said, we started in 2011 with wave pool testing, continued to our real testing in 2014 in the port of Jaffa. In 2016, we built our first real conditions power station in Gibraltar. In 2019, our company became the first Israeli company to list on Nasdaq Stockholm. In 2020, we signed our first large-scale deal, a 20-megawatt concession agreement with APDL in the city of Porto in Portugal. In 2021, we received the first licensing for the first 1 megawatt in Portugal, which we're expecting to start building next year. It will be the first time that wave energy will actually attempt commercialization. We also went public in the same year on Nasdaq US and currently traded on Nasdaq US under the stock symbol WAVE. And in 2022, our company actually started also penetration to the US market. We signed an agreement with Alta Sea in the port of Los Angeles, and we're planning to open our third power station in the port of LA in the first quarter or second quarter of next year. Same, we're promoting legislation also in New Jersey in order to include wave energy in Governor Murphy's Energy Master Plan for New Jersey to bring it to net zero carbon emissions. And we signed a new deal also in Europe with Port Adriano, a 2-megawatt power station in a private marina that is located in Spain, in Mallorca. And our plans for the future is actually the commercialization, so actually building large-scale, megawatt-scale power stations all over the world. Currently, our company holds a project pipeline of 327.7 megawatt and growing, which includes 164 megawatts in Europe, including 50 megawatts out of it in the UK, power stations planned in the United States, in Los Angeles and New Jersey, North America 25 megawatts, Asia 52 megawatts, Oceania 44 megawatts, and South America 22 megawatts. So why eco-wave power is a good combination? First of all, most of the companies in the wave energy field right now are in very early R&D stages. They're still in the computerized system, trying to forecast how it will work and how it will operate. Eco-wave power is already in the sales phase of the company. We already accumulated a project pipeline of 327.7 megawatts and started execution of the project. We have significant operational experience in real conditions. We operated 6 years a grid-connected power station in Gibraltar. We're currently opening the second power station in Israel and the third one soon in LA. According to the research community, according to IRENA, the International Renewable Energy Agency, point absorber, which is the type of eco-wave power technology, will be the technology, the wave energy technology, that will dominate the wave energy market in the near future. And we have strong strategic partnerships with large electrical companies, such as EDF and such as Meridian. So I would like to finish by saying that I'm not objective. I'm a strong believer in wave energy. But I do believe that the solution for the world's problem is actually combining all renewable energy sources together: wind, wave, solar, tidal, and any other renewable energy source. This is the reason that one of our recent patents is actually adding solar panels on top of our floaters. We don't have any expensive equipment inside of our floaters, so basically it's an empty space that we can use to generate 3 to 10% additional energy from the floaters. And basically that's it. Thank you very much.